Members, I'm going to ask you to give Senator Hewitt your attention. We have a very special guest here in the chamber with us today, and I know you will all be very proud to have stated that you were here the day this resolution was presented by Senator Hewitt in the Senate. Senator Hewitt.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and members. You know, it's not very often that you get to be in the presence of a hero. And we are here today with Mr. Eugene Lussan, a World War II veteran from St. Tammany Parish, who last week celebrated his 100th birthday. We are so proud of all that he has done, and I know that you join me in recognizing that men like Mr. Gene are the reason why we are here today and why we know that we live in the very best country in the world because of men like Mr. Gene that have fought for our freedoms. And so it is with great honor, Mr. Lussan, that we recognize you today and honor you and all the men who served with you, the women who worked behind the scenes at home to try to keep the home front and to contribute in all of those ways to make us successful in the war. And so, if I may, Mr. President, I would like to ask the Secretary if she would please read the resolution.
Senate Concurrent Resolution number 13 by Senator Hewitt. It's a concurrent resolution to commend Eugene Lussan on the celebration of his 100th birthday. Whereas Eugene J. Lussan was born in the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana on October 17, 1920, to Jacques Jimmy Lussan and Josephia Impastada Lussan, and whereas he grew up in the French Quarter until the age of 11 when his family moved to Gentilly, and whereas as a youngster he made money by walking racehorses from the train station on Gentilly Road to the fairgrounds, crabbing off the seawall on Lake Pontchartrain, and selling the crabs for 25 cents a dozen, and working at a gas station for $6 a week when he was older. And whereas Mr. Lussan attended Jefferson Davis Grade School, Cap Doe Middle School, and graduated from Warren Easton High School, and whereas possessing a great talent for artwork his entire life after World War II, he attended Delgado College and completed 2 years in graphic arts, graduating at the top of his class. And whereas Mr. Lussan enrolled in Delgado College once again for 2 additional years to complete a 2-year course in iron welding, rigging, and reading blueprints, and once again graduated at the top of his class. And whereas in 1939 he joined the Louisiana National Guard, serving the 106th Medical Regiment at Jackson Barracks, and whereas he was called to active duty at Camp Blanding, Florida, and it was during that time that he met a young lady, Myrtis Louise Dawkins from Valdosta, Georgia, at a dance where they talked and danced until the wee hours of the morning. And whereas after knowing each other for 48 hours, Mr. Lussan proposed and she accepted. And at the time of her passing, they had been married more than 60 years. And whereas they had 4 children, and he is the proud grandfather of 8 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. And whereas Mr. Lussan did not see his son Kenny until after the war ended, and Kenny remembers seeing his father in uniform for the first time when he was 2 years old and thinking the sight of his father was magnificent. And whereas in 1940 he was inducted into the United States Army at Camp Blanding in northern Florida near Georgia and sent to numerous training camps in North Carolina, South Carolina, Fort Dix in New Jersey, and 2 training camps in Texas, shipping out from Fort Dix to North Africa to Casablanca, Morocco, after 18 days on the water as the unit dodged German submarines called the Wolf Pack. And whereas as a medic, he was transferred to the 757th Tank Battalion and the 473rd Infantry Regiment, and was one of the very few to serve in both units. And whereas he spent 2 years storming the beaches of southern Italy from Salerno to Cassino, and participated in the liberation of Rome, where his unit fought grueling encounters against well-trained German soldiers, forcing them all the way back to the Alps. And whereas Mr. Lussan saw action from a Higgins boat, a tank, and on foot, and remembers mud, mountains, and mules while fighting for 58 days in the same clothing, living in trenches, and calling them home. And whereas he witnessed many of his friends suffer the ultimate sacrifice and describes the constant fear he felt from endless artillery barrages. And whereas on the march northward, his unit faced danger on a daily basis, clearing mines by using their bayonets as probes. And whereas Mr. Lussan describes his unit watching in awe as approximately 3,000 planes from the United States flew overhead, signaling the beginning of the end of the Nazi control in Italy. And whereas one day in the city of Genoa, he was handling a phone that did not work well and picked up a button from the ground and banged the phone with it, saying, "Hello, hello," when a voice said, "Hello, who is this?" And Mr. Lussan responded, "Who is this?" And the German commander of 5,000-man unit requested to speak with an American commander in order to surrender. And whereas Mr. Lussan handed the phone to his commander, and the Germans surrendered, which led to his claim to fame that he single-handedly helped capture thousands of Germans with a button. And whereas he was loaned to General Charles de Gaulle's French Expeditionary Force as a result of his outstanding medic skills, combat tenacity, selfless service, and love of country. And whereas fighting the German invasion and occupation, General de Gaulle's unit suffered serious injuries to top leadership and great loss of life, and Mr. Lussan was credited with heroic actions that saved many lives. And whereas he encountered many brushes with death in hand-to-hand combat for which he earned a Combat Infantryman badge, and whereas for his participation in the liberation of France, Mr. Lussan earned the most prestigious medal, the Croix de Guerre, which was established in 1802 by Napoleon Bonaparte and is the highest military honor in France, with the rank of Chevalier Knight in the French Legion of Honor. And whereas at the end of the war and after 27 months of continual battle, he earned a space on the first available plane back to the United States, choosing to return home and carrying his last remaining bullet, which he still keeps with him today. And whereas Eugene Lussan is an exemplary member of an elite legion whose military service is a story of sacrifice, courage, and tribute to all who served, and his quiet demeanor and modest testament belies his uncommon achievements, even among his peers. And whereas in addition to his many achievements, Mr. Lussan has earned the respect and admiration of the countless citizens whose lives he has touched. And whereas Eugene Lussan, one of Louisiana's finest sons, merits a special measure of commendation for his achievements as a veteran and in celebration of his 100th birthday on October 17, 2020, therefore be it resolved that the Legislature of Louisiana does hereby commend and congratulate Eugene Lussan for his exceptional and exemplary service as a member of the United States military, does hereby express to him enduring appreciation for his distinguished service to the citizens of the state of Louisiana and the United States of America, does hereby commend and congratulate him upon the historic occasion of his 100th birthday on October 17, 2020, records for posterity the extraordinary life he has lived, and does hereby extend to him best wishes for continued happiness in all of his future endeavors. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted to Mr. Eugene Lussan.
And now, members, it seems appropriate that I would like to invite you to join Senator Mizell and Senator McMath and me. He's joined here by his son, Kenneth, his granddaughter, Meryl. We have representatives from the Department of Veterans Affairs, Julie and Brandy. Senator Bowie, if you would do the honors, and any of you that would like to join us, I think it's only appropriate that we send Mr. Lussan a Senate version of Happy Birthday.
Mrs. Lussan, it's my pleasure as my homeboy from New Orleans to sing you this Senate version of Happy Birthday. Let's put our hands together. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Lussan. Congratulations.
Mr. Lussan, thank you again from the Senate and the Legislature and the state of Louisiana. We say thank you for your service. Thank you for your example.